So you're going to take 6 circles. You're going to cut the 300 gram per meter squared paper, and you're going to work on wax paper. You want to work on wax paper because once you start adding the Mod Podge, it gets really sticky and you don't want anything sticking to each other. So you're going to take Mod Podge matte and you're going to use the paintbrush, like a wide bristle paintbrush, and you're going to stipple it to the surface of the cardstock, the circle cardstock. So once you stipple it with the brush, you're going to add your second piece, flip over, and then repeat. So you're going to repeat that. So you're going to flip the paper over, as you'll see in a second, and then you're going to add a little bit more glue. So to make one earring, the paper base is 3 pieces, 3 circles thick. So you take 3 pieces of the 300 gram cardstock, 300 gram per meter squared cardstock, which is a really heavy cardstock, and you add 3 pieces. This is going to form the base of our earring. So you're going to add 3 pieces for one side and then 3 pieces for the other side. And later on, you'll see that we'll add the decorative cover. So I'm just doing this to the other the other side of the earring. So we did 3 pieces for one side, and then we're going to repeat the same process and do 3 pieces for the other. So using the same 2.5 inch lever punch, you're going to take decorative cardstock. It doesn't have to be the heavy cardstock, it can be regular cardstock. As you can see, I'm using a pink and purple ombre. So I'll cut out 4 pieces, 2 per earring, front and back. So we're adding that first piece on just like before. You don't want to add too much glue, you're just stippling it to get it connected. You're going to give it a nice little pat down. Make sure if there's any glue oozing out the sides, you wipe it off with your finger. And then we're going to flip it over. Once you flip it over, you're going to stipple a little bit more of the Mod Podge matte onto the cardstock and then add the other side of the earring. You'll repeat this for both sides. I've finished gluing both of the decorative covers to both earrings. I'll put them underneath a really heavy book. So I use my college science textbooks. They're honestly like 10 pounds heavy. And I will leave them underneath the textbook. So put wax paper, earrings, textbook, and leave them there for 5 to 10 minutes. Now you're going to take a 100 over 180 grit nail file and you're going to smooth out the edges. This is a necessary step in order to get very smooth edges to fill in with alcohol ink markers, Copic markers. You can also use Sharpie pen. I use a Copic marker in this instance to match the pink ombre on there. So basically you're just going to file out to get a nice even surface. You'll notice that the paper gets a little bit fluffy. That's quite okay. So you're just going to file it horizontally, then you'll file it vertically and then you're going to color in with matching Copic marker or alcohol ink marker. Now you'll very gingerly color in the edges. This pink is slightly darker than the pink on the paper. So you're going to get a little bit of a rim. If to avoid the rim, just use a color lighter than the one you have there. For the purposes of the video, I just grabbed whatever seemed closest. And the rim is okay. It looks like a nice little border on it. So it acts as a decorative piece. So you color in the rim for both of your earrings before you move on to the next step. Now you'll take Mod Podge Gloss. Mod Podge Gloss gives it a nice glossy finish so that when you're wearing your earrings and the lights hit it, it glimmers and dazzles. You can use a matte base. I've used matte, I've used antique bases, whatever base you choose, but for this particular look, I wanted to give it more of a glossy look, and the glossy look gives it more of a leather appearance. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to stipple a little bit of the Mod Podge gloss onto the edges because you want a nice protective barrier on your edges of your paper. After you do the edges, you wipe off the excess glue that came onto the flat surface, and then you're going to add the Mod Podge gloss to each surface. So I normally do 2 to 3 coats. In this video, I did 2 coats of gloss on each side of the earring. So 2 coats on one side, flip it over, 2 coats on the other. And then I allow the pieces to dry for 10 to 15 minutes before I add the next coat. So you coat on, you don't want it to be too thick, you let it dry, you can use a fan if you like, and then you let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. You come back, you put on another coat of gloss, then you let it sit for another 10 to 15 minutes before you flip the earrings over and repeat the process on the other side. And as you see here, I went off camera and I rinsed my hand in a little bit of that water. I had a bucket of water, a bowl of water, because if you let the glue from your fingers get onto the earring, it starts to form these cobwebs, which makes very irritating crevices on your earring. So you want to continue to rinse your hand or dip your hand in water so that it doesn't stick to your paper. Now we're going to add the holes for the jump rings. So I'm using a 1.8 millimeter lever punch to add those holes. You want to add it sort of close to the edge, but not too close to the edge. So I would say about 2 millimeters in to insert your hole. So I also have 8 millimeter jump rings. I'm going to use 2 per earring, as well as the earring hooks. So here I'm going to take the 1.8 millimeter lever punch, the circle lever punch, and then I'm going to insert that hole by the edge. So once you insert that hole, that's where we're going to insert our jump ring. So you do this to each side of the earring. If you don't have the circle lever punch to make the holes, you can go ahead and use a pin, you can use a paper clip, you can use a drill head, that the ones that they use for polymer clay. I don't know the proper name of that, but you're not dedicated. You don't have to use this. You can use anything to make the hole. I just prefer this because it makes the neatest holes. So here I'm taking out 4 silver jump rings, and I'll grab my jewelry pliers. I'm going to open up that jump ring, so that I can connect the earring to it. And then I'll add my second jump ring with the earring hook. I accidentally came off camera, came out of the field of view for a second there. Now I've come back in, so yeah, it's still in my early phases of video editing and video making, so I'll be more mindful of that in the future. Sorry guys. So now I'm picking up that second jump ring. I am opening them up. Accidentally went off camera again. It's okay. I'm going to come back in. So you're going to add that second jump ring connected to the first, and you're going to keep it open, add your earring hook, and then you're going to close it. I like to add 2 jump rings because it gives you that extra dangling action, so it just like dangles like a nice New Year's Eve ball instead of 1 jump ring where you don't get as much movement on the earrings. I love movement on my earrings. And I'm using hypoallergenic earring hooks because my ears are very sensitive. So these are always best if you want to avoid itchy ears. And the paper earrings are super lightweight, even though we've added 5 layers of paper. Once they dry, they feel like leather, they sound like wood, and they're so lightweight. My ears become so easily irritated with heavy earrings. So this has been like a lifesaver for me. I'm repeating the process on this other side. So you're going to add the first jump ring, close it, then you add the second jump ring with the earring hook and close that off, and voila, you're done. Finished product, I've added it to the heavy cardstock. I used a rubber stamp, self-inking rubber stamp, and I've added my logo, added the earrings. These earrings are perfect for summer, for spring. Yeah, love it.